So first, we're going to talk about qualified exemption status. So Rule 112.2 requires that documentation must support the exemption of the FSMA produce safety rule with requirements for produce undergoing further processing step. So this rule applies to eligible and qualified exemption for farms that must meet two requirements. The number one, that the farm must have food sales averaging less than $500,000 a year during the past 3 years. And you'll be, when you hear about these 3 years, that's what I like about the template that Cornell provided, because they actually gave space for those 3 years. And then also the farm sales of qualified end users must not exceed all the sales of others combined over the previous 3 years. A qualified end user can be the customer of the food or restaurant, a food establishment located in the same state or the same reservation as the farm, and not more than 275 miles away. When we talk about appropriate farm documentations, growers will have to consider having these appropriate documentations that state that the food is not processed to reduce the presence of microorganisms of public health significance adequately. And then they also can have written assurance from the consumers that the product will be processed to reduce microorganisms of public health significance adequately. And this must be obtained annually. So these are some type of documentations you want to start building when you're talking about giving your fresh produce or selling your fresh produce to someone else. So looking at the document that Cornell has provided, I tried to blow it up a little bit so you can see certain things. There are spaces for you to add in average food sales. And then there's also a space for your sales to qualified end users. And then there's also space for the sales and averages of non-qualified users. And so I also would suggest paying attention to the little headings or the little boxes on the right side, because they give you some good insight as far as how the numbers should add up and what they should look like. I think that's a good resource for the audience overall. I know for myself. And the rules itself about requirement documents is just making sure that your document, once you've completed it, have been reviewed and signed and dated once you're done. And like I said, what I like about this document, the rules specifically talk about 3 years. They have space for 3 years and 3 years only. So when you fill this up, it's time for a new one.